Have you ever thought about franchising your business or maybe buying a franchise? Today, I'm talking with Nathan Allman, co founder of Chefs for Seniors, to discuss franchising. Thanks for being with me, Nathan.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Kim.
So, first, why don't you tell us a bit about your franchise, Chefs for Seniors?
Yeah, so Chefs for Seniors is a pretty unique concept. A lot of people, when they first hear about us, they assume that we're meal delivery, but actually, what makes us different is we have, at this point, a team of about 500 professional chefs all across the country that actually come into our clients' homes and do make ahead meal prep. So, in about a 2 hour period, once a week, your chef would come into the home with groceries in hand, their equipment toolbox of all their pots and pans, and then make healthy, customized meals for the week. And then for, the seniors that we serve, a lot of it is about companionship too and a nutrition safety check. So they prepare all the meals, package them all up, store them in the refrigerator, and then you're all set for the week and can just enjoy the meals whenever you want.
I love it. So, what made you decide to franchise your business?
So we started the business. I actually started it with my father, Barrett, who's a longtime professional chef and restaurant owner for, gosh, I want to say 20 plus years. And I started the company with him while I was in business school at University of Wisconsin. And after about 2 years of running the business here in the Madison, Wisconsin area, we actually had a national story on NPR, National Public Radio, and it kind of caused Chefs for Seniors to go viral a little bit. I remember the day that story came out. I mean, we got more website traffic that morning than I think we had the previous 2 years combined. We got thousands of inquiries from all across the country with people saying, I need this service. My parents need this service. Are you guys franchising? And it was at that point that we kind of realized, wow, I think what we've tapped into here is a much bigger need than just a local service here in the Madison area. And so that's when we started thinking about different options for scaling, franchising being one of them. Initially, we actually explored the route of venture capital funding and kind of growing the business through centrally managed locations. So having local managers in each market. Then in 2017, pivoted toward franchising because we really realized that we wanted to have kind of more of a local owner operator in each market, somebody with skin in the game who could be the face of Chefs for Seniors in their local area. We wanted someone that could go out and go to local networking groups, build referral partnerships. And so then we sort of turned to franchising as what we thought was the best way for us to scale. And what we've seen over the last 8 years is kind of confirmation of the fact that that was the best path for us to take. We've been franchising now for 8 years and have over 100 locations across the country.
What was the hardest part about turning your business into a franchise?
Yeah, I think when people see different franchise systems out there, and see that they have hundreds of locations, they don't really realize all the work that goes into it just to be able to even offer a franchise. First off, there's a ton of legal hoops that you have to jump through, setting up something called your franchise disclosure document, which is a big, long, I mean, ours is 150 pages long. I've heard that McDonald's is north of 600 pages. So we had to have attorneys help us put that document together that has information about all aspects of how the franchise opportunity works. So how we protect territories, what your overall investment in the business would look like. There are financial disclosures from existing franchises in the document. So that took, I mean, for us, it was about 30,000 in legal fees and about 3 months of work just to put the legal documents together. And then for us, a lot of the work was documenting all of our processes. We had to put together our operations manual, which is essentially a 250-page book on how to run all aspects of your business, from accounting and financial management, operations, so going into the home and executing the service, hiring and training staff, almost like kind of the next level beyond an employee handbook.
So you mentioned a lawyer. Was there things you were able to do yourself?
Yeah, a lot of companies, when they start franchising, will hire a consulting firm that will help them with things like writing out an operations manual. We actually took on that work ourselves, which now in retrospect, it maybe was a little crazy that we decided to do all of that on their own. There were a lot of coffee-fueled late nights for me, just, writing that operations manual as fast as humanly possible. But we felt like at the time, we were the ones that knew the business best. And so if we were going to be documenting how we wanted this franchise to run, we really didn't want to outsource that. We wanted to do that work ourselves.
How did you even learn how to do that? Was there like a resource, or did the lawyer give you some information on what you needed to do?
I met with some local franchises here in Wisconsin. Culver's, which is a brand a lot of people know, is based here in Wisconsin. So I was able to get operations manuals from other franchise leaders that we met with. So I kind of used that as a little bit of a template and then just modified a lot of it for Chefs for Seniors.
So it sounds like it was a lot of work, but there are consultants if you needed a little bit more assistance, right?
Yeah, if you don't want to be up until 2 in the morning every night, you could probably just hire a consultant that would help you out.
So what has been helpful once you had all of that down, the processes and all the legal structure and the operations in growing your franchise and improving it along the way?
Well, so one thing that might sound maybe obvious when I say it is, as our franchise system grows, all of it kind of becomes easier in some ways and sort of starts to snowball. I mean, when we first started selling franchises and, we talked to franchise prospects, what's the number one question that people ask? They say, well, can I talk to someone who's running a franchise successfully? And we would say, well, we don't actually have any franchises right now. You're talking to the only people that are running this business. Now we can say we've got 100 franchises across the country. We've got the majority of them that might be willing to talk to you about what their experience has been, challenges that they've faced, successes that they've had. So we're at a place now where we're very fortunate where it's almost like the existing franchise network sells these franchises better than we ever could. Now, in terms of how, we're kind of positioned to grow going forward, one of the things that we're really excited about and we're going to be announcing this summer is the launch of a sister brand to Chefs for Seniors called Chefs for Families. We've actually always joked for years that with clients that we serve, we don't check IDs. And we've had a lot of franchise owners over the years who have serviced busy families or provided, postpartum meals to folks who need help. And so Chefs for Families is going to be our sister brand to Chefs for Seniors, providing the same exact service, just catered to a different demographic. So that's going to be coming out probably in June or July and something that we're very, very excited about.
I love this. Do you envision some of your current franchisees also having this one or a completely different franchise base?
Yeah, so it actually wouldn't be a separate franchise. I kind of think about it like one business offering two slightly different products. So it would be something that we would make available to all of our existing franchise owners, and then they would, have the option to start offering that service in their area.
So some of it is really about marketing, and I assume the recipes would be a little bit different.
Yeah, the recipes would be a little bit different websites. So just kind of capturing more of that demand from those busy families. I mean, I have two young kids at home myself, and I can definitely get out of my own way in the kitchen, but I struggle to get dinner on the table a lot of nights. You just feel like you're so rushed. So we feel like this service is going to be a great way to give families some time back.
So let's look at the other side about a franchisee. What would be some of your advice about a potential franchisee looking to select a franchise to buy into and so forth?
I think somebody that would make a good franchise owner would be somebody who has an entrepreneurial, business minded attitude, but also maybe not too entrepreneurial. They have to still be willing to follow the roadmap and the systems that are laid out by the franchise. There's a reason that we have that structure in place and that plan for growth. And the franchises we've found that are most successful are the ones that kind of follow that to a T and they're not veering off that path too much. I also think something that we look for when we're talking to franchise prospects is somebody that has a strong why, a reason why they want to join our concept beyond just the financial reward. If somebody's saying to us, oh, I reached out to you guys and wanted to learn more about the franchise because the senior population is really growing and I want to tap into that growing market. I think there's going to be great ROI here. Sometimes that can be a little bit of a flag for us as opposed to someone who's telling us maybe a personal story about, a parent or grandparent that they were a caregiver for, or they're telling us about how much they enjoy cooking for their family. Those are the kind of stories that we want to hear from folks because, we have franchise owners that come from a variety of different backgrounds, but I think the common thread that really ties them all together is folks that have the heart for doing this. This is a very people-centric, high-touch business. So, we're looking for people who care.
And your business model is so much about family. Your franchise is actually a family business. What has that been like?
Running a family business, there are definitely pros and cons. I think, one of the big pros is and you trust your team members more than anybody else. You're not having to deal with some of the politics that can be involved when you're bringing in other co-founders and hiring employees in your business. I think some of the obvious cons would be finding that sharp dividing line between business and personal and making sure that you maintain your personal relationships with your family members outside of just working with them.
Anything with AI? Has AI been helpful to your franchise? Are you starting to use it?
Surprisingly, yes. This is a service that to date has been geared towards seniors. And so for the clients using our service, we have a lot of people that use our service that don't even have internet in their home at this point. So we want to make the service very non-tech forward for a lot of the clientele that we're working with, but we use a lot of AI tools to support our franchise owners and their businesses day to day. So one of the really neat things that's been an opportunity for us, particularly the last year, is us being able to develop our own proprietary apps for our franchise owners, kind of bespoke applications that are specifically built for us using tools like Claude Code, for example. So just in the last year, we've built out a proprietary CRM so that franchises can manage all of their leads, and it's kind of specific to our follow-up process. We've also built a proprietary menu planning tool. So these are projects that, we've had on our radar for years that we just quite frankly never had the budget or the time to do. And now with some of the amazing coding capabilities with AI, I mean, we were able to stand up these applications in a matter of weeks when previously it would have taken probably 6 months to a year.
Last question. For someone thinking about franchising their business, your best piece of advice.
Yeah, I would say think about what you're truly passionate about when it comes to your business. I use the example of someone who owns a bakery. If what you truly enjoy is baking bread, then franchising your business probably isn't a good fit because if you go the route of franchising, you're no longer a baker. What you are is someone who's teaching other people how to run a bakery business. I think that that's been a really good fit for me. I really, really enjoy working with our franchise owners and coaching people on how to grow their business. But I think if your passion is the actual craft that you're doing, that's not how you're going to be spending your time when you franchise.
Thank you so much, Nathan Allman, co-founder of Chefs for Seniors. I'm Kim Eddleston with EIX.org. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.